Welcome, busy gamers. Today we're going to be looking at Golfie. If you're familiar with my first look series, feel free to go ahead and skip straight to the gameplay or the discussion section. And if you're looking for the full review of this game, I'm going to be putting that in the end card and the show notes as soon as it's posted. So what's a first look? For me, the very first few minutes of a game are super crucial. They set the tone. They determine if a game's going to really grab me. So for this series, I'm going to be bringing you along as a first step foot into a game, putting a timer up, playing just for 30 minutes. As I play, I'm going to be giving you my live thoughts and reactions before giving a short summary at the end. So for this first look, why was this game chosen? Golfie is a game that was developed by TryHeart Studio and published by Yogscast Games. My only real experience with Yogscast was an old podcast that typically talked about MMOs and things of that nature, and I think that's kind of why it hit my radar. Now, I play a lot of roguelikes, I play a lot of card builders, deck builders, things like that, and so it definitely triggered me there as well. Golfie is a roguelike mini golf deck builder. Each run requires a bit of strategy, some planning, some aiming and skill, and you get to build a unique deck that kind of gives you a unique way to play mini golf. These are all procedurally generated islands, procedurally generated courses, and so you never have any two games that are exactly the same, and at least that's the goal here. So basically, we're playing Slay the Spire in an action-packed arcade game that has multiplayer elements. We're going to play some golf, we're going to play some Slay the Spire, we're going to combine it all together. How is that going to work? I'm not really sure, so let's go ahead and get that timer up there and get to playing. Alright, busy gamers, due to a little bit of a technical issue, you probably see a costume change for me today. Since we have done the intro to this video, we have lost the first 30-minute footage, so unfortunately you're going to have me get this picked up with just a little bit more experience than usual. The good thing to that is I'm going to be able to explain a lot of things about the game that I wouldn't have. The bad thing is the live thoughts just aren't there. So please join me as I take my next 30 minutes into this game. I'll get that timer started still. We're actually probably going to cut this one just a bit short. We're going to play one round of golf, however long that happens to take. I'm going to do my best to introduce you to the majority of the concepts that I've found so far, as well as trying to explore a few new concepts. So let's go ahead and start that timer, and off we go. Now, the first thing we're going to note here is you're going to be able to see a customization feature. Your golf ball starts out 100% nothing. Let's get rid of everything here. I am going to leave my collision particles here, the boink, the pow, the bang. I like comics, and it's nice that it exists. You can make this affect a few different things, as you see. Your trail can change, but I don't have any new ones here. Your face can be adjusted. You got this little goofy robot ball to start with. I put some cucumbers on his face, let him relax. And then you can give him a hat. Either some stereo, or if he's got just a rough day going on, you can also have this rocket impact him in the head. So we're going to go ahead and go with that for our golf ball, but I just wanted to show you that there are customization features in this game, and that is primarily what you're unlocking after each run or each round of golf. That's really what's changing. There's not a whole lot else that changes as you level up. There is a collection of cards here. There are 47 total cards. You have different rarities of those cards, from bronze, silver, and then gold. There are additional markings on these cards denoting some form of additional rarity, i.e. there are 3 chevrons here versus none here versus a bunch here. And that is not just based on the rarity of the card, at least as far as I can tell. But we'll figure out what that means later. There are different perks here. I have 19 out of 35 unlocked. These are various things. You can pick up coins from a greater radius. You can recharge energy after every 20 coins you have. But note that these perks are not meta progression. They are not things that you're going to have in perpetuity throughout your runs of Golfie. They are something that you have to pick up through the actual game, and so that is something to note here. Initially, when I was playing this, I wasn't sure if it would be meta progression or not. It is not. So let's go ahead and start our round of golf here. I've really showed you all that needs to be shown outside of that. It's pretty simple, and so there's not a whole lot for us to do. There is a seed button here, so if you and your friend want to play the exact same round of golf, you can absolutely do that. Or if you'd like to do a challenge where you're playing the same seed over and over again, you're welcome to do so. There are leaderboards in this game, so you do have scores, and I can explain a lot of the way the scores are given. Then there's just a free play, which you won't fail. You can just kind of play some golf, and honestly, the core game of golf here is entertaining. But a new run will be how you progress, and also how you get on the leaderboards. You see your crazy little golf ball flying through space there, and you see this big grid appear. So this is how most roguelikes would look, with a branching thing all the way up until the end. And in this, the choices are a bit different. You basically see that your choices are a different look of a hole. So you have the Japanese sakura blossoms here, you've got windmills here, you've got beach scenes. I have found that I believe the Japanese one to be just a little bit harder than average, the windmill to be about easy or a little easier, and the beach to be the easiest. That being said, I don't know if this is an actual logic here. It appears that the difficulty is somewhat random. As I've played in the past, I've felt like sometimes holes were trivial, up from the first one to the 18th hole, and sometimes I felt like holes were 100% uncompletable for me. I actually had one run that I actually lost before I got past the first hole. So our choices here is a glitch. Glitches are just starting bonuses, I believe. You can get a random perk, pick a card, or get a random card. I never understand the inclusion of get a random card or pick a card. There is no reason to not choose pick a card over get a random card in my mind. We're going to get a random perk though, that affects everything, and that always is going to be better in my opinion. Alright, you get a nice little overview of the hole each time. And as we play, I'm going to explain a couple of different elements. So, first things first, you can disconnect your camera and move it around. That is something that I suggest doing every so often, as it is difficult to tell what's going on in a hole. They're relatively pretty, but you see that white cone down there, or that white cylinder down there, that is the hole. On this hole, it's pretty obvious, but once you go all the way back to your ball, it's almost impossible to see that flag, and that's what I have an issue with. The hole is the diameter of the white column. The flag is the tiniest thing I've ever seen in my life. Alright, to do shots, you're going to add cards, which look like these little chips that you would insert into a computer off to the side here. Once they're added, they can't be removed. That is a bit of a problem, so you're going to want to be careful about what you add there. I've never played a roguelike where you couldn't remove those before, and that is a source of complaint for me. But then you have the stretch ability here, where you can kind of see a guiding line where your ball is going to go. So we're going to pull it back, we're going to release it, and we're going to see where that gets us. Didn't quite get all the way to the hole. We didn't necessarily expect to do so, but we didn't want to overshoot it either. The things that you're going to see on your screen here that are still relevant are going to be, you can look at your deck. This is your whole deck. You can click on any card and see what they do. You can look at your draw pile, so you're going to know what you have available to you to draw, and you're going to look at your discard pile. You only get 3 cards per turn, and I actually find that to be too low as well. It does really add to your inability to kind of adjust to the luck of the draw. And so for me, that has been also a bit of a negative. We didn't quite make it up the hill there. It's my fault. And then we've got some battery up to the top here. So I'm just going to kind of slowly explain what we've got going on around the edges here as we play. Shots left here. That, of course, is just how many shots you have before you go over. And then this battery here is your lives. Those things are going to affect us in a couple of different ways. Battery, for example, being our lives. Every time we fall off the edge, we're going to lose some battery. There are other ways to lose battery as well, and this is something that I was pretty confused about as we played in the past. The other ways to lose battery are going to be if you overheat. So in this game, you see that there are 5 areas for heat here. It does not explain this to you at all, but if you get more than 5 heat with combined cards that you play, you will then lose a level. And that is just going to be a level of your lives, level of your battery here. You can also get pretty bad draws like this. 3 power shots aren't really going to get me anywhere. I could do this and that would jump that is likely to lose me alive. We can kind of give that as an example, but it's not really going to get us anywhere, shall we say. So we're going to hit it. We're going to fall down. That might actually put us in a worse position. But at this stage, I don't think that lob shot will actually get us anywhere. Or the power shot. We're going to try to kick our ball back out and recover this. We actually can't even get to a place where I feel like I can see what this is going to do, which makes me a bit nervous. Oh, we just straight off the edge because we can't tell what we're doing. So we have made some mistakes here. Of course, we were just we were talking about it. We said it was a mistake to go up there, that we needed to wait for a lob shot, and indeed that is exactly what we should have done. Alright, I think we may have recovered our issues here. We have 2 shots left, so we're very likely to lose some lives on this one. We still actually cannot get up there. I'm going to take one more shot back out here, trying to get ourselves in a better position. You're definitely going to see us lose some lives here. Hopefully we're going to be able to recover it enough that we can continue the run, though. So let's get it up to the top, finally. We'll get it set up in a way that we should be able to go. You see, as you go over par, you start to lose lives every time you take a shot. There is no guarantee that you're going to be able to get to the hole each time. The lob shot and the curve shot won't really add power for me. Curve shot would add a little bit, and we might choose to use that here. But because we want to be pretty careful with what we're doing, we want to do that as slow and steady as possible. I'm going to take 2 lives lost here, and we're going to hope that we can recover this run. In we go. 2 shots over, double bogey. You'll also notice that I got some coins last time. I won't get any coins this time. We are over, and so our score doesn't go down a ton, but we don't get any coins for that. You get 1 coin for everything you're under par, and that tends to be pretty beneficial for you as you visit shops later. We have 4 lives left. We've lost 3 of our 7. That is going to put us in a little bit of a damper position since we're only on hole 3 here. But we should be able to move through. So I've explained most of those things. Let me see. Other things that we should chat about as we go. So you see the coins up here. I've got 8 coins to start out with. Most things that you're going to purchase in this game are going to take approximately 10 coins at a minimum, and a lot of them are going to be 18 to 20. So going to a shop with less than 15 to 18 is going to be a mistake or kind of a waste of time for you. You see that if you do focus on getting to the hole and you just really kind of go at it, you usually can do so pretty easily as long as you're careful. I do find that the guiding lines are not that useful. I don't think they do enough. I don't think they give you enough information. So we got 5 coins for that. We're 5 over, plus 60 points. Looking good. This question mark is a random effect that you'll have on you on the hole. Bogey bomb, if you go over par, you're going to explode. I haven't had this one before, so I don't know exactly what it would do, but I assume that it would just kill you twice, meaning every time you go over par, you will take 2 points of damage instead. I'm speculating here, so take that with a grain of salt. It's early morning and I need some coffee with my golf. Alright, we're going to take that power shot. I think we're going to take it nice, and I say we're going to take it nice and easy, and then I'm going to add the second power shot immediately. So let's see what this gets us. We needed the second power shot. But like I said, I only have 14 coins. I could pick up 2 more coins. I don't think that would really get us enough to be worth it. So we are going to just ignore that. And we're going to see what we can do from this perspective. Now it looks like there are some rocks behind that to me. So I think what we're going to do is we're going to hit it here. I think our guiding line clearly shows that we've made it onto the bridge and over. Yet in our actual hit, we fell very short of where that guiding line showed us. So that's kind of where my main complaint comes from this guiding line here, is I think it's just a bit misleading. Now, that could be somewhat intentional. There are some upgrades that say improve your guiding by 0.3 seconds. I would assume that means your guiding line then becomes more accurate. that it's exactly where your ball's going to be for a certain amount of time in the game. My issue with that is it doesn't really explain it well. It doesn't really tell you what that means. So after this one, we got to pick a glitch. I don't know if that's just because we beat it by 7. You know, we were significantly ahead of where we intended to be, or where it would expect us to be. 10 coins, random rare card, or random card. Again, I don't feel like some of the rare cards are that helpful, so I would just take 10 coins, give myself the ability to choose. Now we can do a mine or a windmill. Windmills are probably my favorite. I think they're the most fun. But we have not seen this mine area type. So let's go ahead and show that to you now. It's kind of a dungeon. There's the swinging blades, there's ramps, there's all kinds of things. There tends to be lava on a lot of these as well, which I find interesting. The variety of holes is fairly good, though I will say that a lot of them do look very similar to me. It says it's randomly generated, but even in my very limited time playing so far, I feel that I have actually played a repeat hole. That's not what you want here. I'm just going to make sure we get that over that edge that rolls downwards. And at that point, I think we can kind of work from there. Kicked it around the corner enough, I think. Yeah, I kicked it around enough. Power shot, kind of bank it off this corner. We have 7 shots left. They are liberal on a lot of these. The ones that are the dungeons tend to be fairly long holes. Kind of sits on a ledge here. I also feel like it's a little difficult to see the elevation changes when you're further away. It's grainy, so when you're off to the edge there, that looks a little bit just like a wall and a pedestal to me. So it's hard to tell that it's a ramp, like you can tell when you get up a little closer. I feel like they could fix the visuals just a bit as well for clarity, and that flows in line with the issue we were talking about earlier. Now, there's no lava or anything in between me and it. We're kind of just going to aim here, and then we're going to try to time it to the point that it's not going to hit that. Couldn't quite make it up on the pedestal. I don't know that I expected to, though. And here we're going to take just a little bit of a shot at it. So again, only having 3 and no redraws. If there was some form of a redraw mechanic to mitigate that luck, I think I would like it a bit better. Yes, it's a deck builder. Eventually you can try to mitigate your luck by building a better deck, but since you only draw 3 cards a turn, adding things to your deck is sometimes actually quite detrimental. And just because you add something does not inherently make things better. When you do add it, you get it immediately for at least 1 turn though, so that is a strong plus side. Got it in as an albatross, plus 3 coins, and we're sitting pretty rich. So now if we find one of these that has a shop in it, we should be able to do something with that. Let's actually take 2 shops in a row and then a random effect. Nice calming bamboo here, and this hole doesn't actually look that extreme. That's another thing, we talked about it, we mentioned it a little bit earlier. I do not understand the difficulty. So you see that we've got just these little squigglies to start here. We've got a shop way off to the side. And again, I've seen shops right next to the ball, way off to the side, or right next to the hole. How it chooses to do that, how random these things actually are, is really difficult for me to know. I don't care about the shop so much that I'm just going to go that far out of my way. If we can, we'll hit this crystal here. Crystals are something that I haven't really been able to explain so far during this game, so I would like to do that if it won't cost us too much to get there. I may need to use the curve shot here, just to get a little bit of power on this. It looks like we're hitting it, but I am wary. Let's put that lob shot in twice. We didn't get there. And apparently there's a significant grade here. We can't see. Now we only have power shots. We're not actually going to be able to get this. And we're not going to skip a turn just to do so. So this is the mechanic where you add additional cards to your deck. They don't come up as often as I would like them to, and they are very out of your way sometimes, making it feel very awkward to get new cards in the first place. And since unfortunately I think a lot of the core cards are actually really good when it comes to completing the game, that why bother? As you see me play, I actually haven't had any issues completing. Now if I can get up here and get this red one, if we can do that. We should. So blue are new cards, red are new perks. So we can pick an additional card from blue crystals, so we can take 2 cards at once. We can get 1 additional option in red crystals, or we can just recharge our battery. Now I can't see my battery at the moment. I know I've lost some levels. That's another issue I have here. I shouldn't have to remember where my health was to know how dire this situation is. It should still show up on the screen. We're going to say that we can take an additional perk from red. It's pretty lackluster to be presented early on here because that's the first red crystal we've seen. We have 37 money here. Also, your perks show up in the top right-hand corner. So you can actually see there's an increased chance of finding rare cards in blue crystals for me. I took the random perk to start with, and that's what we got. So just to clarify, that is what we got early on. It does not show you that. Again, we have clarity issues here because in my mind, the game should say, here's the perk you were granted randomly, and move on from there. This is our first beach scene here. We're going to get those island rhythms that we haven't had from the others. We see that we have 11 shots to complete this one. I can't see the hole at all from our start here, but we are at least going to be able to interact with this store very easily. So let's go ahead and nail that. If you hit this store, you will go to it. So now we've been able to kind of interact here. We have a fabricate, destroy 2 cards, add a temporary card of your choice to your hand. That is actually an excellent card. You can almost always get by with just 1 card if you have this particular card in hand. Pick additional cards from blue crystals, destroy a card, recharge an energy, or 30% chance cards won't add heat. I don't really understand where this would be useful. I actually don't think I have ever overheated. Not that I've played a ton here yet, but I don't think I've ever overheated. All of these feel very lackluster to me outside of fabricate. We'll get a fabricate just because I want to buy something, and we'll exit with 25 coins, keeping a little bit of money for the future. Now a curved shot here would actually be nice. We'll see if we can go over here without going way over, or if we can go way over, that would be nice as well. It looks like we could. I don't see any obstructions. It looks like we could just sail right over this part here. Not as pretty as I would have liked, but making it work. Making it work. Alright, we see the hole now. Straight away, we don't have any power to this, so we'll use the curved shot as something to aim with a little bit. And indeed, that actually might work well for us, as we do kind of need to curve around here. I love that that looks like taking a nice draw or hook in real golf. I do like that part, that aspect here. I need to just see if there's a hole right here in front of me. There is indeed a hole right here in front of me, so that would be detrimental had I not looked. So that is another recommendation I'm always going to make. Free your camera, look up there, figure out what's going on. It'll serve you better in the long run. We way overshot that. We're going to lose it in the water. So we've got a bunch of shots left. Let's just be safer. Let's knock it out in front. We almost weren't safer again. We almost just kind of rolled off that edge. Another thing that I've noticed, a few times I have laid it up on an edge like this. That edge has then considered itself unstable and my ball has rolled off of it. So I would restart at the edge where it went into the water. However, that edge was unstable and then my ball would just fall off again. I literally lost 7 lives on a run because I lost 1 and it reset me on an unstable edge and I died 7 more times with no ability to hit the ball. This is a very frustrating experience and something I want people to make sure they are paying attention to as they play and that they're aware is possible. We actually ended up in the grains between these, which I also find just a bit frustrating, right? But we're in. 8 of 11. 500 total points. We went up 60. This is something that's important to note as well. So this should say total score in my mind instead of just score. Score almost seems to me like I'm getting that score from that particular hole. The 3 coins left. Let's hit the next stop. Keep moving. I would like to show you just a little bit more. Though that being said, there isn't a lot of change in between holes and at the end. It's not, again, like we have a scaling upwards difficulty here. It's a very long hole. We've got a chance for a lot of different power-ups. We're going to try to attack it quickly. We might even be a little reckless. We only have 3 lives left. But we're nearing the 30-minute mark at 23 minutes, and we don't want to hold you too long. Alright. See, that guiding line showed us going past that easily, and the guiding lines usually do show us when we deflect off of something. So I do find that extra frustrating. That again, the guiding line just doesn't always tell us the truth. The ball being extra bouncy still worked out for us there. We got it kicked out. That's all we really needed and wanted. These random effects do provide some interesting moments, but I don't know that they ever feel impactful. Shots are always fully stocked. Draw an additional card first turn of every level. Additional cards is always going to be good. Let's just take that. Because again, it's gonna attack one of the most common complaints I have, which is that we don't have enough cards. Having just 3 cards makes this feel less like a deck builder to me and more just like some random chance as we're playing through the levels. Okay, the extra bounciness is just silly. In all honesty, the main thing I'm taking away from it is it's taking a little bit too long to make it through the level because of it. I also don't see any way that this is not going to be crazy. Yep, weren't able to hit it hard enough. And again, it's not as if I didn't pull it back all the way, I just wasn't able to hit it hard enough. I didn't have any power. So this is likely to go into the lava on the other end. It's actually likely to get stuck. We kind of sort of lied to you there. Oh, we did not hit that as hard as we thought we did. Oh, and the blades kill your ball. They don't deflect it, they kill it. That I didn't know. So that's something I learned here today. I did not in any way, shape, or form anticipate that your ball could die due to getting bladed. I find that to be a little bit funny in all honesty. Silly, but funny. Alright, we made it in. Just on par. We get to pick a glitch. So again, I don't know what assigns whether you get to pick a glitch or not. I need another perk just because perks are good. And we're going to keep moving on with our life. I don't know if we've played a windmill shot yet, so we're going to click on that. This is inconvenient. This is an elevator. Here's another odd thing. It says it does not replay holes. I almost swear to you that I've played this exact hole before. And again, I haven't played that much, which means that these are either much more similar than I would like to think, or you can get repeats a lot faster, a lot easier than I expected. There's only 9 shots left. We're going to take this out pretty quick. Again, unfortunately, we're kind of showing you here that I don't find the extra cards to be that useful in many cases or many situations. I just didn't bother to use that new rare card. It existed, I just didn't bother to use it. Still kind of working our way around the corners. That elevator is going to be our biggest issue here. In all honesty, we're going to try to make this something that we approach slowly. I forgot, I did not see, not saying I forgot, did not see that there was a hole there, so we now put ourselves in a pretty bad position. Now we're just going to have to work our way around, and now we're going to have to take this elevator upwards. inability to see what we're doing here. Alright, lob shot. A little bit of power. Alright, we made it onto the elevator. This is interesting because you're going to have to do the elevator portion or do the shot portion while the elevator is running. Get up top. Hit it. And at least we made it cleanly onto that bridge. Lose a curve shot because it is a shot that will give us some distance out of the roll of our ball. And we'll see if we'll get a carry. We'll birdie it up here. One additional coin. Moving along. I actually think we're probably going to go ahead and stop the video here and then give you our final thoughts. I ended the game with 36 coins, 2 lives, and playing for approximately 30 minutes. This gives you a good idea of what you're going to be experiencing throughout the game, and plenty of an idea of what I'm going to be complaining about as I played. Now, I did find it a lot less clear during my first play, and so that's probably something that you would experience as well. I hope the things that you heard and saw from me today would help and clarify. See you soon. Alright, let's do some final thoughts here. We've played our 30 minutes of Golfie. We've got our levels that came from the experience we were granted of playing our first few holes. Now, I may have cut some of that as there was a bit of choppiness at the end of the video. We'll go ahead and give the thoughts now. My main takeaway was clarity, clarity, and clarity. I struggled throughout to know exactly what something would do, from the guiding line of my golf ball to what would be available on the next hole. The elevation on the course, whether it was going up or down, I could not always tell, and what certain elements meant on screen, such as the battery that you saw me sometimes even testing to see exactly what would get the battery to go down. Of course, we now know that that's my lives, and we lose it when we go into the water. But even whether my rewards at the end were permanent overarching meta improvements or new improvements that I could just get or use during a run was not ever something that was clear to me. So across the game, across the board, the game needs clarity. I even ran into 1 or 2 instances where I lost or couldn't see the hole because the flag was absolutely tiny and blended in. There is a cone of light that comes out of them, but the flags, for whatever reason, there's this giant hole and there's this tiny, tiny, tiny little flag in the middle of it. And that is something I struggled with. Some of this could be fixed by adding better tutorials, and other things could use graphical changes to correct the issue. Most of these issues are pretty minor on their own. They add up to a lot when placed together, and so that's something that I hope the developer sees and hears some of the feedback that they're likely getting, or sees videos like this. There were also some controls issues for me. Once I placed a card, I couldn't really see a way to remove it. I would really like the ability to add and then remove cards while looking at the trajectory line before I had to commit to a shot, but the actual mechanism of hitting the ball hit and worked well. I didn't ever feel like there was any issue with the drag back or anything of that nature. I thought that was well implemented. The main issue was that if I put 2 cards in and then I looked at the trajectory and I didn't like that, there's nothing I could do about that. I didn't feel like I could then drag that card back off. The cards themselves also didn't really feel that unique to me. Outside of the magnetism card, which was very cool, very special, most of it just felt as if I was hitting it harder or higher, and the way I did that was different, the mechanism was different, but the end result was extraordinarily similar. I won't be too hard on that, as 30 minutes is just a very brief playtime. We probably have not done much but scratched the surface of these cards, but it left me feeling like adding cards wasn't really that exciting or worth it. And that's not really what you want. You want those to always feel very special as you get to choose a new card in a deck builder game. Finally, the game was a fun little game of mini golf. I enjoy mini golf. I liked the idea of upgrades and roguelike items being a cost-benefit decision. I was always having to go out of my way to hit a crystal or something of that nature. They'd be placed off to the side in a hole, or they would make it challenging. So if I wanted an upgrade, I'd have to do something for it. But still, the game came across mostly as a simple mini-golf game versus really making me feel as if the roguelike and deck builder part would ever really take center stage. Alright, so if you liked this video, thank you very much for making it to the end. People like you are what keeps me going and keeps me making this content. If you liked it, go ahead and leave me a comment, subscribe, like it, things of that nature. I'd love to engage with you as I want to build part of the community here. Other than that, have a great time gaming.